Okay, good morning all and welcome to this morning's Margam Crematorium meeting. Can I first of all, before I get into the meeting, apologise for the postponement of last Friday's meeting. It was down to me, I hold my hands up. I had a double entry in the diary which I didn't realise till the last minute. So I apologise for that and I appreciate the fact that you've made the effort to attend this morning. So obviously we can see the three colleagues online. I'm joined here by Craig, Simon Brennan, Karina and Tammy, who's out of shot across the road there. So part one, or before I go any further, I just need to ask as well, at the end of the meeting, I'll be asking officers, apart from Craig, if they will leave, and I'd like to have to update a committee on a development which Craig and I will speak about at the end of the meeting. So if you could just hold fire after the meeting ends, and then we'll have a discussion on that. Okay, so part one, item one, any declarations of interest? Don't see any. Okay, thank you. Item two, minutes of the previous meeting. These are on pages 3 to 6 in the pack. I'll go through them for accuracy and then we'll have any matters arising thereafter. So on page 3 there, we've got members present and apologies. Items 1, 2, 3 and 4, which go overleaf to item 5, and then that's followed up on page 5 by items 6, 7, 8 and 9, and then any urgent items overleaf, which takes us to the end of the meeting. Are we all happy that they are a true record? Okay, thank you, Wayne. Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Sorry?
Yeah, happy, sorry.
Thank you. Any matters arising out of those sets of minutes?
No indications, Chair.
No. Okay, there we are then, so they are accepted and moved. Item 3 then, the annual budget report 2024/25, pages 7 to 20 in the pack. Karina?
Thank you, Chair. So the purpose of this report is to set out the revised budget for 2023/24 and the budget estimates for 24/25. The revised budget position shows a net deficit of £4,250 after the £100,000 contribution to the Crematorium Renewal Reserve and the £100,000 payment to the contributing authorities. This was predicted to be a deficit of £215,800 when the original budget was agreed in February 2023. The revised budget takes account of the following anticipated changes, so I'll just briefly run through some of the pointers. Cremator maintenance, the budget increased by £12,410. This is to allow for a full reline and block upgrade on one of the cremators. This is essential maintenance work. Gas is increasing by £34,000 and electricity by £21,250. The budget has been updated to reflect the increased gas and electricity expenditure that is expected to be incurred this financial year. The NND charge has decreased by £18,830 this financial year. This is due to the fact we were eligible for rate relief as an increase of the rateable value of the crem, so the charge didn't go up as much as we anticipated. The provision for capital works has been reduced by £150,000 and is now anticipated the majority of the works will be due to take place next financial year. It's projected that a contribution of £4,250 will be made from the General Reserve, decreasing the projected balance to £1,003,055 at March 2024. The sum will be updated at year end once any variation in the net expenditure is confirmed. A contribution of £100,000 will be made to the Crematorium Renewal Reserve and the £100,000 payment will be made to the contributing authorities, apportioned on the council tax basis of each authority. So on to revised income. The number of cremation services has been increased to 1,550, resulting in an increase in the projected total cremation fee income of £38,100. The media services system is increasingly popular. We're anticipating the income will increase by £5,500. Miscellaneous income, which includes certificates of cremation, extra time in chapel and witness burials, has increased this year. We're anticipating this increase will be an extra £10,000 worth of income. Investment income is expected to increase by £57,000. Interest rates have continued to increase throughout this financial year, resulting in a larger sum of interest due on the reserve balances that are anticipated at the original budget stage. Appendix 1 contains details of the original and revised estimates for 2023-24 and the estimate for 2024-25. Moving on to the 24-25 budget. This budget has been prepared based on 1,500 cremations. The total expenditure is projected at £1,197,630, with income of £1,152,550 and a preset of £1,000. The majority of the budget has been increased by 4% and energy by 5%. I'm just going to briefly run through some of the main variations from the 23-24 revised budget. Salaries are expected to increase by £26,330. So this is an increase of 4%, which has been built into the budget, together with the annual increments where applicable. Gas anticipated to increase by £4,550, electricity by £2,750. The budget is just allowed for the 5% increase in costs in comparison to the revised budget of 23-24. NNDR, we're anticipating, will increase by £9,330 next year. This is due to the rate relief, which will decrease year by year until eventually in 25-26 there'll be no rate relief available and we will pay the full charge based on the new rateable value. A sum of £250,000 has been set aside to support capital works that have previously been discussed at committee. On to income. Income for the financial year has been based on 1,500 cremations. The total number of services carried out in the previous financial years was 1,659 in 22-23 and 1,459 in 21-22. It is proposed the fees and charges relating to cremation fees and ancillary services, so that's 1A through to 1F on Appendix 2, are increased by 3% from the 1st of April 2024. A 3% increase is proposed to assist with meeting anticipated energy cost increases and other inflationary increases. Appendix 2 contains information to show the effect that a 1 or 5% increase would have on the fees and charges for 24-25 for comparative purposes. The proposed cremation charge for adults with the recommended increase of 3% is £667.50, which would still see Margam Crematorium remain the lowest charge in Wales as at the date of this report. There has also been a change to the VAT treatment in relation to the supply of urns and caskets, which I need to draw your attention to. VAT is now chargeable on the supply of these items, and the pricing structure has therefore had to be updated to reflect the new VAT treatment. These items are supplied solely and directly to funeral directors and not to members of the public. Appendix 2 shows the proposed fees and charges for 2024-25 and the additional comparators for cremation fee increases. The revised budget indicates a contribution of £4,250 for the general reserve, with the balance at 31st of March being the £1,003,055. This figure will fluctuate and will be updated to take account of the year-end position. The estimated balance of the general reserve for 31st of March 2025 is projected to decrease by £244,130 to £758,925. It's proposed to make a further annual contribution to the cremator renewal reserve of £100,000 in both 2023-24 and 2024-25, given a projected balance at 31st of March of £1 million. So there's a brief summary. Happy to take any questions.
Okay, thanks, Karina. Anybody got any questions on what you just heard? Wayne?
You're on mute, Councillor Carpenter.
You're on mute, Greg.
Yeah, sorry, Chair. Yeah, simple question really. There are no Palm Sunday services. Could that be explained for 24-25?
They're all falling in 23-24. So the way the calendar works, there won't be one in 24-25. It'll be 25-26.
Thanks, Karina. Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Okay. I asked Clive and Karina if they do a little bit of work for me on one matter which jumped out at me. And if you go to Appendix 2 on page 17, you'll notice that on under general items, line C, that we charge £356 more for a Saturday cremation. And I've asked officers if they could come with some figures today to justify that. I mean, I was in a meeting a couple of months ago which sparked it off for me. The cost of the gas is no different to a Thursday morning than a Saturday morning. We've got staff down in the crematorium, so they are being paid. And it just seems, in my opinion, that £350 to have a Saturday cremation, we just can't justify it. So I don't know, Craig, do you want to come in?
Absolutely, Chair. So thank you for that. Councillor Neath obviously mentioned it just previously, and the reasoning behind the additional fee in the past has been obviously we have to pay an enhanced rate for staff at the crematorium on the weekend. We operate with more of a skeleton staff as well, obviously with the reduced numbers that we do have. And what I suggested is that we still need to do a little bit of work, obviously, to understand the basis of the calculation and the impact it could have on the overarching budget. So what I would advise at this stage, subject to members being happy today, is that the budget could ultimately be approved as is on the basis of the information which is included in the report. And at our next meeting in February, we will come back to you with more of a narrative as to how the 356 current fee has been calculated, and the impact it would have, obviously, if we were to either remove it in its entirety, reduce it, and then members can make a determination. Obviously, these new charges and structures that we're going to be looking at wouldn't be taking effect until the 1st of April in any event. But obviously, given that we've got another meeting in February, we can have a general discussion specifically around that point. And then as members, you can collectively determine what approach ultimately you wish to take as to whether you want to maintain it, decrease it, remove it, whatever the process would be. So we'll produce some evidence to you, which you can make that rounded decision on. Should that be acceptable, Chair?
Okay, that's good. Karina, did you want to add anything? Because I did speak to you about it.
I did briefly have a chat with Clive, but I think we need to sit down and work through the figures, the rationale behind it, and come back to you then with obviously our reasoning for it existing, and if you do wish to change it, proposals for what it can be changed to.
If I can just add then as well, Chair, just so you're aware from a member's perspective, the number of Saturday services at the crematorium do remain comparatively low, obviously, compared to where we are within the remaining part of the week. So what we could potentially look at is giving you some statistics as well, so you know how many services we have on Saturday, the impact then that will have, the workload requirements that ultimately come with it in respect to energy usage, etc. At the same time, bringing all of that evidence together will enable you to make that rounded decision as to what approach you wish to take then going forward.
Okay, anybody want to come in on that? I mean, I'm happy to accept what both Craig and Karina have said as I brought the matter up. You're okay? So you'll come back and give us a bit more. Okay, right, thank you very much. So going back to the actual budget then, on page 12, we've got recommendations there, 5 in total. There's no need for me to go through them all individually. Are we happy to accept the recommendations as written on page 12 there? We all okay?
Also
Yeah.
seconded, Chair.
Can I have a proposer and seconder then?
Happy to propose, Chair.
Okay, So, thank you very much.
Any abstentions, Chair?
No, we all okay.
Oh, great, thank you.
So can I again thank Karina? I mean, there's a lot of hard work gone into that, and I know she does it every year without fail or favour. So yeah, thank you very much, Karina.
Thank you.
Yet again. Okay, moving on then to agenda item 4, which is the reclamation scheme, pages 21 to 24. Craig, you're going to take us through this?
Chair, thank you very much. So members will recall at the last meeting on the 6th of October, we brought a report to you regarding participation in the RS Bruce scheme for reclamation. And we agreed that we would participate in that new scheme as opposed to the ICCN model, which we adopted previously. We are required ultimately to declare a charity that we wish the donations ultimately to be made to. And at the last meeting, you asked if we could come back with sort of options in respect as to which organisations could be capable of being utilised. So if I take you to Appendix 1 of that paper, the officers have done some research to look at a number of different bereavement-based charities which operate within the Neath, Talbot and Bridgend area. And the name and the purpose of those organisations is included within your paperwork there. So in reality now, what it comes down to is members making a determination as to who ultimately you want to support. We will provide that name ultimately then to RS Bruce, and the elements then will continue forward. You're not bound into this particular charity for any particular term. It's a report that we will be bringing back to you on an annual basis when we confirm the nomination. So the mere fact that you choose one charity this year means you can change your mind and look for somebody alternative next year. As officers, we're not making any specific recommendation as to anyone on that list as to who you might wish to support. So the decision is very much one for members when you feel that would be the most appropriate organisation for year one of the scheme to make a charitable donation to. I'm happy to take any questions, Chair, but I think it's just a matter of consensus amongst the members here today who would like that nomination to go to.
Okay, any questions on what Craig has just said? Anybody want to come up with any suggestions as to what charity we donate to? Previously, it's been T Haven, isn't it?
Yes, Chair.
And I think we've also given to Talbot.
We have, yes.
You know. What about the Aberafan Surf Life Saving Club that's on there? Because of the boy that died on the beach this year. But they're all great causes and concerns, isn't it? So it's hard to select.
Yeah, they're all worthy. They're all worthy charities, Andy. You're quite right. I mean,
yeah.
Personally, I know the work the Life Saving Club do down there, but can you compare that to Talbot or T Haven, where they actually deal cancer cases?
What I will say, Ted, is they get quite a lot of charity contributions, don't they? Because they have bigger concerns. That's my, it's only my humble opinion. I mean, I'm only throwing it out there, but I mean, Talbot and places like that do get a lot from. But a lot of other people do lots of things for them. But I'm not dissing any of them. I'm just suggesting something that's local to us, and because that youngster died from St. Joseph's School, you know, I mean, I'm not dissing any of them. I just thought I'd put it out there.
And I get what you're saying, Andrew, and I understand. I think we need to look a little bit more than locally, as in our area. And I refer to you and I, you know, with where we are living,
Yeah.
It's coming from, how can I put it without being, the monies that, or how this money is generated is because of cremations done across the county borough.
Yeah.
Of residents across the county borough. But yeah, I mean, that's what we're here for. Wayne, did you want to come in with a?
Yes, thanks, Chair. Personally, I would tend to go for Neath Talbot Cancer Challenge. I've seen some of the work that some of these local people do. I've seen it when I was up in Merthyr. And they do a tremendous amount of work in supporting families. But then I'm also mindful that not everyone loses a loved one to cancer. So I would look to sharing it between Neath Talbot Cancer Challenge and Crew's Bereavement Support.
If I can just come in, Chair, the Harvest Pre scheme requires us to nominate one charity, I'm afraid, instead.
Okay.
So we'd have to pick one as the nomination specifically for the scheme. Now, obviously, going back to what I was just saying earlier on, the mere fact that you choose one charity this year means you could change your mind and do with somebody else next year. So you could look at different nominations throughout the duration of our participation in this scheme.
Yeah. Thank you, Craig. With that in mind, I would say Neath Talbot Cancer Challenge, personally.
Okay, well, I'll come for nominations later. Andrew, do you want to come back?
Yeah, Ted, look, whatever you decide, I'll back, because you've been in the game a lot longer than me. I don't know, all them charities are well worthy of it, but if you know who've had stuff off us in the past and who might need more of it now, so whatever you, I know I'm putting the onus on you, but I'll back wherever you decide, to be honest.
Okay. Rob, do you want to come in?
Yeah, the reason why I've kept quiet is basically what Andrew has just said. You know, I've nominated in the past, and I just want to give new members an opportunity. I'm happy to support nomination, either what Wayne has just said, or because I'm having problems. I missed the very first part of what you said in relation to going forward. So I'm agnostic in relation to I'll support whichever one we've got nomination for.
Thanks.
We can change whoever benefits from this on from you to your company. Okay. So on that basis, and I'm taking on board what's been said. If Wayne was minded to nominate Neath Talbot Cancer Challenge, and perhaps we have a look next year at what Andrew was suggested, and not as we can check. You know, this is a yearly thing. This can change every year. But I feel, yeah, perhaps now that I've listened to what's been said, and in the past it's gone to T. Olwyn, and it's gone to T. Haven. Perhaps the money now should be spread out a little bit. Wayne, would you be happy to go along with Andrew? Would you be happy with that first of all, or would you want to put you a nomination?
Ted, I'll go with Wayne. You know, I only threw it out there because it's just one that stood out to me that might not get the support that others will. But I would do a cancer because everybody's been touched by cancer, and then perhaps next year look at an Alzheimer's one or a dementia one, because that's a big, you know, that's also a big killer as well at the minute, in my opinion. So go with Wayne for this year if you want to, Ted, and then we look at it again next year.
Okay, that's fair enough.
In my personal experience, Chair, local people, when they lose a loved one, they're looking for donations in lieu of flowers. They ask, what is the local charity that they can support within the Neath Talbot area? And very often they go for Neath Talbot Cancer Challenge as opposed to cancer research, because what I found, more so in Merthyr than Neath, really, with my experience as a minister, was that they provided massive support to families who couldn't get back and forth to hospitals. They might not have had their own transport. And in the case of Merthyr, they were taking them down to Cardiff, you know, for treatment. And it's just a very localized charity that's supporting these people in the lead up to bereavement and after bereavement, I'm sure, and also providing equipment to the hospitals. There's only a proposal, but like everybody else have said, Chair, I will go along with the majority. Thank you.
I think where we're blessed is we could give a good case for every single one of these charities.
Yeah.
You know, they all do a great job, but at the end of the day, we've got to come down. We can only, as Craig has said, we can only nominate one charity. So, Wayne, I'm happy to accept Neath Talbot Cancer Challenge as our recommended charity this year, if you were happy to put that on the table.
Yes,
And then,
please.
like I said, this can be up for discussion again this time next year.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. I make that proposal. Thank you, Chair.
So we happy with that? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, there we are then. Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you. Item 5, any urgent items? I haven't been given any, so I have no other agenda items other than to ask the members stay behind. So can I thank you officially for attending? I'd like to mention Mr. Brennan for attending. I took a bit of stick off us last time in his absence, and he's come today, and there's nothing for him to discuss. But
Very disappointed Councillor Jones isn't here, to be honest.
I thought I'd better stay away from the chamber, just in case. You never know. As a matter of fact, I got loads of questions for you, but they weren't agendarized, so lucky you.
so there we are. So officially, Sammy, I obviously got to wish everybody a Happy New Year, a Merry Christmas, and whatever else goes with it. Thank you all for attending, and if I could just ask members if they just stay behind briefly.